Hi everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, the frequency in which I have been posting on this channel is quite a lot. That is for many reasons, including the fact that I am in my slow period at work, so I have time to record all these videos, and the fact that my anxiety has been pretty bad, and these videos truly do help me relax. So I was watching Deli's YouTube recording of her live stream, and when I say Deli, I mean Deligracy. Really great channel. One of the first YouTubers I started watching. I believe Claire, though, was the first one that I watched. Anyway, I digress. She was building a house, and I got inspired by it, so I do want to give Deli credit for that. This is not a house, though. This is a restaurant slash bar, and I made sure to change quite a few of the features, but it was definitely inspired by Deli's build because I wanted to challenge myself to build a house that I normally wouldn't build. And I will tell you, roofing freaking sucked on here. I initially thought about having this pool be open, but you see, I decided to add a fence here because you know how Sims are, okay? They're gonna come here in the winter, they're gonna get into the pool, everyone's gonna die, you're gonna be stuck on this lot, you're gonna have to wait for the Sim to die and the Reaper to show up, they're gonna complain that they're stuck, yada yada. I just figured it's going to be easier for us to just have this pool outside. So what I originally had in mind for this lot is that it was a factory that was kind of turned into a bar slash nightclub, but obviously it's not big enough to be a factory, so use your imagination here. It is a former factory. It was shrunk down for cost of running the bar slash club, and this is in my Not So Berry Legacy Challenge file. If you saw that episode, then you know that Micah James and Arden Rose did age up, and I needed places for them to come hang out. While I do have access to the gallery again, every once in a while I do like to challenge myself to build a different kind of lot and continue to work on my save file, although at this point I'm not sure if my save file will ever actually make it to the public, simply because The Sims 5 will definitely be out before that happens. I didn't start playing The Sims 4 until a year or two ago. I actually think it was a year ago, and I've logged literally over 2,000 hours, so that's a lot. So yeah, I'll be ready then. I had a lot of issues with this build just because I used platforms, and you can see how much I'm struggling with things not wanting to blaze or they're going in the wrong spots. Love the platform tool. I think it's really interesting and fun to play around with, but it can be a pain in the butt when it comes to things like placing doors and windows and objects, which is obviously what you do in a build. So this is a place for Micah James and Arden Rose to hang out. As I already mentioned, it was inspired by Deli's build, but I really tried my best not to copy it exactly and to give it its own unique character and style. And after a certain point, I did stop watching Deli's video because I wanted to make sure I wasn't unintentionally copying it. So really, it's just the outside that was inspired by that. I will definitely try to leave that video linked in the description below so you can watch it. If, like me, you watch the Sims videos because they help you relax. If you've had a really stressful and anxious day, you can find that turning on something kind of mindless like The Sims is just a great way to relax. For me personally, it definitely is. If I'm having a really stressful day, I turn on a Sims video and I just let it play in the background just to soothe my mind. So I hope at the very least this video does that for you. You can see that I try to place down a skating rink, and I was so mad because this lot was supposed to be a skating rink slash arcade, but the skating rink honestly just did not fit. So instead I turned it into this nightclub arcade type thing, definitely more catered to teens, and I don't end up super happy with how it turns out because I had to change my idea mid-build, and that means that the inspiration that I had and the thought that I had with it just didn't make sense. So what I do end up doing is turning this into a restaurant because there is seating outdoors, and I always like it if Sims go out that they're able to get food. Although if you have Dine Out or you've seen anyone play Dine Out, you know that that is a really glitchy pack and that your Sims will rarely ever get their food. It obviously does not help that I play with about a trillion mods and a billion pieces of custom content. Which reminds me, I play on a MacBook Air. It's a newer one, which is why I have the gallery, but my MacBook Air can still really comfortably play a lot of mods and custom content. And I hear people say like, oh, you can't do that. I think it depends on how you set it up. I personally set my Sims game up and the storage on my MacBook Air to go straight to my iCloud, and my iCloud is capable of holding more storage, hence why I'm able to have more space. In the future, I will eventually switch over to a Windows computer or a PC, but because I'm going to be traveling quite a bit and I do prefer MacBooks for the general work that I do outside of The Sims, because The Sims is not my career, as fun as that would be, this is not my job, it is my hobby. So when I eventually stop traveling, I haven't started yet because obviously COVID, but once I start traveling again and I eventually stop and settle down into one place, I will get a desktop that I will use to play The Sims, which means I can have things like reshade and my game can be super bright and beautiful like everyone else's. But if you play The Sims, then you know that reshade does not work, or there is not a version of reshade for Macs. It is for PCs, computers, Dells, whatever the hell you want to call them, okay? It's not for Mac. So here I'm doing lighting. I'm trying to add some more interesting features to this lot, but honestly, it's a build. So let's talk about some other things. It is February right now. As I mentioned, it's a high anxiety kind of day. Not the worst, but honestly, it's just because I chose to have a cup of espresso this morning because I had a 4-hour staff retreat. Keep in mind, I work virtually, so that means I sat in a Zoom call for 4 hours, and your girl loves to talk. Obviously, I'm doing a voiceover. I record a lot of videos. I love to talk. I like to be engaged. If someone asks me a question or talking about opinions, I'm not the type to stay silent. I will give everyone else some time to speak and to get their opinions out there, but I don't have any problem speaking my mind or sharing my opinion. Anyway, so you see here, this is glitching, which you see what I mean when I say the issue with the platforms. The issue and quirk, I'm going to say quirk to be nice to myself, with this lot is that there's only one bathroom, and I really tried to make it so there could be 2 toilets or toilet stalls. I pull out the Discover University toilet stalls. It just doesn't fit in here, and I don't have enough room to change the lot, nor was I willing to finagle with platforms to make it. So if your Sims do come to this lot, they're going to have a hard time using the bathroom. So I do suggest that you make sure their needs are where they need to be before you come here. With that said, this isn't even on the gallery yet. I don't think enough people watch my videos for me to put them on the gallery. Although you can request in the comments below if you do want this build, you want it in your game, you could definitely find it in the library. So what was I saying? Yeah, stressful day, yada yada. I realized I like to look at my thumbnails because I'm working on that creative aspect of this Sims channel and finding ways to create thumbnails that are my own, that work, that feel good for me. And I got PicMonkey, and it's just really, really fun to play around in that platform. So me being the Libra that I am, I like to see my thumbnails on my YouTube channel, and of course I'm subscribed to my own channel. But then I realized I haven't seen my own videos in a long time, which tells you the YouTube algorithm. Obviously I don't watch my own videos. I'm not that conceited. Like, I record something and I do not go back and watch it again. That just feels very awkward for me, so I don't do that. But I like to see my videos, and YouTube stopped showing my videos. So I went through and I tried to find my account, and I realized that YouTube unsubscribed me from my own channel. I didn't unsubscribe myself. YouTube did that. So I was like, you jerk. So that is your reminder that if you do enjoy my channel and you enjoy these videos, please make sure that you are subscribed and that you have your notifications turned on, because YouTube will mess around the algorithm, and sometimes you have to be in a very specific mood to watch a Sims video. So when I realized that YouTube unsubscribed me from my own channel, I try to find my own channel, and my channel name was very simple. It's just Shar. If you ever try to find Shar on YouTube, it's really hard. Like, there are a billion, and most of the videos that come up are not even close or even kind of relevant to what I was looking for. So I realized I needed to update my channel name. So I just changed it to Shar Plays The Sims. I was going to do like Shar Games or Shar Plays, but those are channels that already exist. So I just went for Shar Plays a Sim because I don't play any other games on this channel. I play the Sims 4s, I do series, etc. So we're just finishing up the lot here at this point. I'm really just adding decorative touches. I'm working on the flooring. Excuse the fact that you can hear the baby screaming her little lungs out in the background. She's upset for some reason or the other. I don't know. She also in general just likes to scream. I thought about setting this as a bar or a lounge of some sort, but restaurant just makes the most sense. So your Sims are able to actually use these tables outdoor and are able to get food. So that is why I went for a restaurant. But how are you all doing? Why do you watch Sims videos? Like me, is it because you use them to relax? Do you like the storylines, etc.? The Sims is this really interesting space where it looks very childlike in the graphics of the game. And I don't mean that like, oh, it looks like it's badly made, like a child did it. I mean that it's very cartoonish and it appeals to children because of its nature, right? But the channel that I created and why I created this channel is because I am a full-grown woman who plays The Sims. I am 26 years old. I will be 27 this year, and I have more adult-style gameplay. So when I create this channel, I really cater more to older people, not that we're old, but people who are not children. If you're over the age of 13, I imagine is essentially who my audience is in this, so that you can have a different kind of gameplay and just see the Sims in a different light. I always kind of hate doing voiceovers, to be honest with you, because what else we're going to talk about? Like, we have 4 more minutes left in the video and I don't have anything else to tell you at the moment. But I'm struggling with the kitchen here. Again, it's so frustrating when you start a build and then you realize a little bit later on that it's just not going to work as you imagined it. Like, I imagined this would have been a really, really cool house, but I wanted it to be a public space. I didn't need more houses in my Sims 4 save file. I needed more places for my Sims to go, because if you saw in the last part of my Not So Berry challenge where we officially kicked off our red generation, then you'll know that Micah James had nowhere to go. I had only built like one public lot that he could actually visit and have fun in, and that was La Cantina, which is also a speed build on this channel, and he had nowhere else to go, and there weren't any like teenagers around, so I messed around with creating this lot. I gave it like that teen neighborhood hangout, which by the way doesn't even freaking work. Like, I put that on so many lots and it does not generate any teens. It's all adults and young adults. And I'm like, no, Micah James is a teenager. He needs more teenagers to hang out with. And I would love for my teen Sims in my games to meet other teen Sims somewhere that is not school. So anyway, we're finishing up the build now at this point. And yeah, I hope that Micah James is able to visit this lot and just work on his red generation challenges and goals. I want to continue building more like public lots for Sims, recreational lots for Sims to come and play around in and meet each other and have fun and have a good time. But I will tell you, like, there's a reason why there are a lot more residential lots and speed builds on YouTube than there are like retail lots or lounges, karaoke bars, restaurants. Even restaurants are somewhat easier to build than the other lot types, simply because it's hard to incorporate personality in an industrial type build, right? When you're building a house or a residential lot, you usually have some kind of storyline or sim in mind. There's some personality that you can incorporate into the house and how you decorate, as opposed to when you're building a public lot that your sim would come hang out in. It's just a different style and aesthetic, and there's not as much room for that playfulness and that personality and that presence. With that said, I utilize the debug menu in this to add some of that personality back. So you can, like I mentioned, it is an old lighthouse It is a little old light bulb factory, you know, like Philips light bulbs. That's where I imagine these things were made. So I'm adding things that don't really make sense, but kind of make sense for the lot. Like that little trailer, train, house thing, I imagine is like how they transport it, the materials. Just use your imagination, okay? We had to add some industrial features to the lot and give it that sense of personality. But by the time I did finish building this build, I realized that it looked so much like my other build. Whenever I build a public recreational lot, I always tend to make it industrial, and that's because I hate roofing and I don't know what else to do. But that reminds me, a really fun build that we could do is actually like a cafe or something, because we can make the cafe a house and we can still add personality, like a bakery, especially because now I have Get to Work, which, by the way, I got Get to Work when I was pretty much almost done with the mint generation of the Not So Berry Legacy Challenge. I originally was playing the base game rule, and then Get to Work went on sale in Origin, so I went ahead and picked up that pack. And I was like, do I have Aubrey switch her career? But because she's so close to finishing her astronaut career, I decided not to. But the most challenging part of the Not So Berry Mint generation is honestly those damn crystals. They're gonna be the freaking end of me, because I search everywhere and you always find the same crystal. Like at this point, Aubrey has 6 copies of like the same exact elements, so I really need her to find some other crystals. So if you have tips for me for the Not So Berry challenge and where you can find crystals, please do drop them in the comments below. With that said, we are getting to the end of this video. All I'm doing is adding the final touches to the lot, things on the roof to make it seem more factory like, although you're gonna have to really use your imagination to have that stretch that it is a factory, because it is obviously too small to be a factory. But hey, it could have been a smaller factory. And I do eventually go back and fix that little room that you see me struggling with on this camera a little bit later on. But that is the end of the video, so I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.